Myself, Dr. Hanuman Prasad Pandari. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering (IARE), which is located at Dundila. The topic that I am going to discuss is from Module 4, Gender-Based Violence. And the name of the topic is When Women Unite. This is a film actually. This is regarding anti-liquor movement. How the women fought for the liquor-free society. Okay. And the contents that I am going to discuss in today's topic are introduction to the film When Women Unite. And When Women Unite, which is the story of an uprising, and review of the film. Next, summary of the film, and finally references. Okay, so let's look at each and every content in detail. The first content is introduction to the film When Women Unite. This film is directed by Shabnam Virmani and Nata Duvuri. What the film narrates? It narrates the incredibly moving story of the anti-Iraq. What is Iraq? State-supplied distilled liquor. So, incredibly moving story of the anti-Iraq movement that led to the eventual ban of Iraq sales in Andhra Pradesh in the year 1995. So, that is what the film narrates. The movement started when a group of women participating in a literacy program started questioning their oppressed status. A village woman was beaten to death by her drunk husband when she tried to prevent him from molesting their daughter. Okay, so actually the husband who was drunk, and in the drunk state, unconscious state, he tried to molest even his daughter, and his wife tried to stop that, and for that purpose he beat her like anything up to death. Okay, so that is the very much negative impact of liquor. Okay, so how they banned the liquor? So this is anti-liquor movement. So this was shown in this film When Women Unite. They took on the men of the village, the powerful Iraq contractors, and the repressive state machinery in a valiant struggle that demanded a stop to the endless supply of Iraq to their village. As I told, Iraq means state supplied distilled liquor. So they have demanded a stop to the endless supply of Iraq to their village. Who demanded? The women of that village. Okay. So the village belongs to Nellore district, which is in Andhra Pradesh state, and this movement was done in the year 1995. This is the introduction to the film When Women Unite. So this is the part of gender sensitization. Okay, so men are drinking like anything, and they are molesting even their daughters, and they are beating their wives. So one should stop this activity. Nowadays also in most of the rural areas. Okay, so these things are happening. So one should get awareness of this, and one should try to avoid all these things. Okay, and the next content is When Women Unite, the story of an uprising. The only village tap dispensed water once in 2 days, while the Iraq shop received its supplies twice a day. So see how they are facing the problem. They get the water supply once in 2 days. Means alternate days they get the water supply. While the Iraq shop received its supplies twice a day. Means they will get the Iraq, means liquor, twice a day. So means it has more demand in their village than water. Okay, twice a day liquor and alternate days water. So that is the situation of that village, which was happened in the year 1995 in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh. The movement took hold and spread across the state over a period of 4 hard fought years. So over a period of 4 hard fought years. So 4 years they fought, the women of that village, to stop the liquor supply to that village. Okay, that is why it is anti-liquor movement, which was wonderfully shown in this movie, When Women Unite. It was a true grassroots movement. Even today, it has no identifiable leaders. Okay, so there was no identifiable leaders for this anti-liquor movement. The movie documents the incredible courage of these women who fought for the stopping of liquor. Their political and social consciousness and their steady realization that through struggle they could control their own destiny. Okay, so finally they could control their own destiny through struggle. Lot of struggles they have faced. So that is what it is shown. It is the real life actually, but so in order to represent that real life, Shabnam, what is the name of the director? Shabnam Virmani has directed this film to get awareness among all the people. Okay, so this is the story of uprising. And to continue, this film recreates the remarkable story of a 4-year grassroots struggle by women in Andhra Pradesh, which is in India, to ban the sale of a state supplied alcohol. What is state supplied alcohol? Iraq, that I have told already, in their villages. When Women Unite combines dramatic reenactments with a testimony from the women themselves, as well as interviews with other activists, government officials, and even liquor dons, including the infamous Iraq Emperor. Okay, they have taken lot of interviews with all these kind of people. Okay, so activists, government officials, even liquor dons. So they have conducted interviews. Why they are supplying, what is the purpose, and they requested them to stop all those liquor supplies. Okay. It follows the government's introduction of tiny and inexpensive plastic packets of Iraq in 1982. When this movement is started? In 1995. But this was there before that. So when it has enlarged, then only people will create a movement. People will fight for that avoiding of the supply of Iraq in their village. Okay. So in fact in 1982 itself the government supplied tiny and inexpensive plastic Iraq packets. Okay. So the mid 80s boom in sales. Mid 80s means 1980 to 1980 to 1990, that is considered as mid 80s. Okay. 1985 is exactly mid 80s. Village protests fueled ironically in government sponsored literacy classes. Okay. So they have started many things like village protests, which are government sponsored literary or literacy classes. Okay, so this is also the story of uprising. And let's continue. Large scale district demonstrations and the all out statewide ban on sales of Iraq that took effect in 1995. So it has taken effect from 1995, but the movement was started in 1995, right? So, but in 1982 itself, the government has supplied the tiny and inexpensive plastic Iraq packets. Okay, and yeah, in 1995 it took effect. Means people came to know the anti-liquor movement is going on in particular village in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh. The film is about making of the anti-liquor movement in Andhra Pradesh, India. Most of the story is told from the perspective of one participant only, who is Kotamma, but it succeeds in making manifest the inextricable links between politics, economics, and daily life. Okay, they have manifested the inextricable links between politics, economics, as well as daily life. It is at once a tale of gender relations and feminism. Okay, it is a tale of gender relations and feminism. And also democracy and political protest and the potential conflict between the economic interests of the individual and the state itself. Okay, so it leads to the potential conflict between the economical interests of the individual and the whole state. Okay, so to continue the review of the film When Women Unite. This is one of the most intelligent films made so far on the anti-liquor agitation or anti-liquor movement. Agitation is nothing but movement. Okay, of the women. So who conducted or who initiated this movement? Women, because they are only getting affected by the liquor drunk by their husbands, okay, or parents, or brothers, and so on. Okay, so women of Nellore district especially, which eventually led to prohibition being imposed on the whole state of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so they started to ban liquor in the whole state of Andhra Pradesh. But you know that in practical view, most of the income is coming from the liquor. That is why government is not taking steps to completely ban liquor. Okay, but government has to think on it. So in order to get income in this way, so there are many other ways. So that they have to monitor very carefully. But still government is not taking an initiative to completely ban the liquor. As the brochure of this film puts it, it is one of the most extraordinary social uprisings of modern India. Much type has already been created around it, and it is an evocative subject with immense visual possibilities. Imagine the drama of rural women countering policemen's lathis with broomsticks and chili powder. So even police are supporting the liquor. So even though policemen are with lathis, so these women even fought against them with their broomsticks and the chili powder which is in their kitchens. Okay, So women are that much courageous. If they thought anything strongly in mind, they will fight until they reach the target. Okay, that is the good sign. And to continue the review, imagine the visual power of a bonfire of liquor packets lighting up a clutch of triumphant women against a black night. So why black night? Because that night many bad things have happened. It is the latter image that the film opens with, suggesting that this will be another exercise in the glorification of this movement. Fortunately, it is not so much that as a very tightly constructed account of why the agitation caught and the way it did and why it succeeded. Okay, this is a long film but so tightly packed that you cannot fast forward without losing some element of a well researched reconstruction. Means while looking at this film, because it is real life incidents, so you cannot even skip any incident. Okay, so it is such a overwhelming and realistic experience. And to continue, it is a dramatic reenactment of the events in Nellore district between the years 1992 and 1995, using people who took part in the movement, men and women from 7 or 8 villages acted in it, including men. So those who don't drink or who don't prefer liquor. Okay, they bring it to vibrant life. So they gave light to the anti-liquor movement. Why women unite? Looks at the circumstances which combine to ignite this agitation or this movement. It begins with the Telugu Desam party under NTR introducing a particularly aggressive liquor policy, with a resulting spurt in government income from liquor. As I told, government is expecting, government knows that most of the income comes from liquor. So even government has initiated liquor by supplying plastic packets. Okay, not only in the village of Nellore district, in every village of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, thinking that if it is in small packets and a limited supply, then they will control. So anything to stop suddenly is not good. So it has to be stopped in eventual way. Means slowly it has to be stopped. Then only it will be good. Okay. So thinking in that way, government has supplied many packets. So especially by Telugu Desam party under NTR government, Nandamuri Tarak Ramarao. And to continue, what used to be sold in bottles begins with to be sold in sachets, means small packets, and liquor becomes more mobile than before. Andhra Pradesh liquor revenue shoots up from 230 rupees to 230 crore rupees to 639 crores rupees. So that much revenue is coming from liquor in Andhra Pradesh in those years. How much? 230 crore to 639 crore rupees. That is why government is focusing on that at that time. Simultaneously in Nellore, paddy cultivation is declining rapidly, being replaced by sugarcane. So paddy cultivation is declining and sugarcane is increasing. Why? Sugarcane is useful for producing liquor. Okay, that is why people have started the immense cultivation of sugarcane. So in that way, the paddy cultivation was declined. But obviously, paddy cultivation is mandatory for the survival. Without food, no one can survive, right? So the work women got in the fields from paddy is no longer available. So many women are getting work from the paddy fields, but since there is a declinement in the paddy cultivation, so women could not get much work from the paddy fields because it is no longer available. Okay, as sugarcane has replaced that paddy fields. Okay, to continue in the film, the protagonist's voiceover says, "Paddy has been everything for us. It is scary somehow to imagine our village without it. Yet everything is changing so fast. Sugarcane and agriculture are coming like demons into our lives. No matter how far we walk, it is difficult for a woman to find work." Okay, so the voiceover of the protagonist will be coming in this film, and it says this: "Paddy has been everything for us. It is scary somehow to imagine our village without it. Yet everything is changing so fast. Sugarcane and agriculture are coming like demons into our lives. No matter how far we walk, it is difficult for a woman to find work without paddy fields." In the year 1992, the price index rises to an all-time high. The new Congress government that had come into power in Andhra Pradesh withdraws the 2 rupees rice scheme. Okay, as paddy field is diminishing, they have started 2 rupees rice scheme in Congress government. Actually, NTR has given 1 rupee rice scheme itself, but later in Congress government, so because of the what we can say, declinement of rupee value, the value has been increased to 2 rupees in Congress government. Okay, the shift from paddy to sugarcane cultivation causes a loss of 4 lakh work days. Means most of the women depend on the paddy field, paddy cultivation. So the shift from paddy to sugarcane causes a loss of 4 lakh work days. How many work days? 4 lakh work days. Okay, it causes a loss of 4 lakh work days. Imagine how hard the situation was. Let's continue. This, according to the film, is the slow economic ruination, means spoiling of the economic system of the poor, which forms the backdrop to the anti-liquor agitation. So that is how the anti-liquor agitation has started. Deprived of work in the fields, women lose whatever maneuverability they had. They lose their patience. Okay? The family income shrinks further as sugarcane started growing, and which leads to the more supply of liquor in their villages. Watching it being steadily spent on liquor is the last straw. Simultaneously, the film reconstructs the rise to affluence and power of the Iraq contractor lobby in this region. Okay? What is the power of the Iraq contractor? That is what they have shown. Because of the demand, huge demand of the Iraq. The largest contractor of the district, a man who started life as a toddy tapper, is interviewed and sitting on a plush red upholstered chair, he describes the economics of the Iraq industry which enabled him to build substantial assets. So based on this Iraq industry, that person, that Iraq contractor person has earned a lot of money, so which enabled him to build substantial assets. He created a lot of assets on that Iraq contract. Okay, so that is the power of that Iraq contractor, those villages. Let's continue. The film tells you that the trade required the contractors to maintain gangs of gundas as well as fund political parties. In order to maintain that liquor properly, they need to maintain gunda gangs, because if something happens, then gundas will come into the light and they will control. As well as they have to fund political parties, because even though they won't fund or they fund, they won't do anything. That is the main thing. The political parties, especially if they got some bribes, then they will encourage them. Okay, but they never try to stop that liquor supply in their villages. Eventually, the contractors started contesting elections themselves. So those contractors have the elections. So who is going to supply Iraq and all? So you can see the huge demand for the Iraq in those villages. This then was the lobby that eventually bowed before the might of a spontaneous, leaderless agitation that spread in 4 months to 800 villages. So those people spread those liquors to 800 villages. Okay. The other clear delineation that takes place in the film is that of a government structure working totally at cross purposes. Okay. So the other delineation is that the government structure working totally at a cross purposes. This analysis is presented in the words of the giant collectors and officials of the government sponsored literacy movements in those districts, especially in Nellore district. Okay, so in presence of giant collectors and officials of the government sponsored literacy movements, they have presented these words, means to stop or to ban the liquor supply. Then a farmer collector says that through its development schemes, the government earmarks 16 crore rupees for the poor. But in return, the poor give the government 60 crore rupees in Iraq revenues. So that is why they are encouraging the Iraq in those villages in Nellore district. So the government has spent 16 crore rupees for the poor, but they returned 60 crore rupees in the form of Iraq revenues. Okay, liquor revenues. One arm of the government embarks upon a campaign for literacy and social change. The primer it prepares talks about the need to abolish drinking because it ruins family lives. Why they need to abolish drinking? Because it ruins family life. Another arm of the government works at how it can make government supplied liquor more widely and freely available so that government revenues from liquor can increase. Another side, government is thinking how to make more revenue. From 1992 to 1995, there are many small and big confrontations, challenges, setbacks as well as triumphs. Triumphs means victories. Okay, let's continue. The film chronicles them all through the eyes of Kotamma, superbly enacted by a village woman. What is particularly effective from the beginning of the film is the English voice narrating Gautama's voice or narrating Gautama's viewpoint. So this is the effective from the beginning of the film. What is the viewpoint of Gautama? So narrating that viewpoint is the effective in the movie. It is an often humorous narration in what is not a cloying TV voice but a light natural voice, expressing just the right degree of feeling and emotion. So it expresses the right degree of feeling as well as emotion. This alone sets this film apart. Documentaries made in this country seldom get this treatment. Seldom means rarely get this treatment. What kind of treatment? In a good way. So the review was very nice because it correlates realistic and real life incidents. Why Women Unite is a documentary with many interviews. It is also a dramatized reconstruction of the little incidents around which the agitation grew. Some of the incidents are stunning, such as the one in which one of the members of the literacy class dies, battered by a drunk husband whom she took on when he tried to force himself on their daughter. It is just narrated, not shown, but it registers with the viewer. The viewer registers in mind that the drunk husband has even come down to molest even his daughter. So that is the very much negative impact of the liquor, Arak. So there is space, drama and authenticity in the entire narration of some 3 years events. There are 2 or 3 men and women who are part of it all, who sum up from time to time the different stages of the agitation. There are only mainly 2 or 3 men and women who has sum up different stages of the anti-liquor agitation. One of them is a Jan Vigyan spokesman, is being the body that coordinated the literacy movement in this district. Okay, who is one of them? Jan Vigyan spokesman, who became the body of the movement. Okay, he is used to most frequently by the filmmakers, and in describing the point when the government decided to step and sell liquor itself after public opposition had repeatedly stalled liquor auctions. He says succinctly that there is a people's order that liquor should not be sold. There is a government order that liquor should not be sold. That is the end of government's morality before the people. What is the government's morality? People's order to stop the liquor supply and government's order to stop the liquor supply. People as well as government together gave the statement. So liquor should be sold, should not be sold. Government is saying liquor should be sold. People are saying liquor should not be sold. So government is thinking to increase the revenue. People are thinking to save their families from their lives, to save their lives, okay, from liquor negative effects. If there is a flaw in this film, it is the absence of a credible dissident voice. Absence of credible dissident voice. Perhaps there was no credible dissident stand that could be taken on this issue. Okay. So summary of the film When Women Unite. The film recreates a piece of history that took place in Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh state of India country between 1992 and 1995. Arak, a type of country liquor, was being manufactured by the government and supplied to the villages through middlemen. Since Arak was easier to obtain than water as I told, water supply is twice in a day means alternate days, but liquor supply twice in a day. Liquor supply twice in a day, water supply once in 2 days means alternate days. Okay. The village men were staying intoxicated and becoming more and more abusive to their families because of the more liquor supply and less water supply. The women of the villages in Nellore district railed and got the government to stop the sale of arak in their villages. So after fighting for around 4 years, 1992 to 1995, 92, 93, 94 and 95. So these are 4 hard fought years. Then they convinced the government to stop the sale of arak in their villages. And today, prohibition on liquor has been lifted. The film had the foresight to anticipate this possibility in Quattama's narration. Okay, but today the prohibition on liquor has been lifted. Means still the liquor is being supplied in many villages. But in those days, to stop those kind of negative impacts, government has stopped for some days, but later the government has started again to increase the revenue. It ends with her going off to contest a panchayat election because, as she puts it, policies will change. Tomorrow prohibition may be lifted. There are no easy answers, no easy endings, only the hope of fresh beginnings. Okay, so that is how the film has been ended. And the references that I followed were Gender Studies by Kadambari and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyani, and especially Drashti Media Group and CD80 review by Sevanti Nina. Thank you very much for your kind attention. All the very best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.